Hi, this is Ben from 561 Music Podcast. Right now, we're trying to get 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. It just helps us get out there more. It also enables us to monetize the podcast, to make it better, do more advertising for it and things like that. Subscribe to the podcast and hit the notifications button. That would be doing us a really big favor. Thank you very much. Welcome to 561 Music. My name's Ben.
And my name is not Hector. I'm Corey, but it's me today.
Oh, it's nice to have you, man. Poor old Hector's not feeling very well. He's under the weather, so you very kindly stepped in at the last minute.
Yeah, it's just, sounded like a fun opportunity,
Yeah.
Decided to hang out
Hell
see
yeah.
what this is about.
So, what have you been doing this last weekend? Anything exciting?
Had a gig in Wellington. That was pretty
Okay.
good.
Who was that with?
It's this yacht rock band I play with. We literally just call ourselves yacht rock.
That's
Yeah.
That sounds
It's like very generic. It's like it's literally like the genre,
Yeah,
But
yeah.
It helps you get gigs because it's like, I don't know.
Everyone loves it.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
There's plenty of yachts down here. you
No,
know?
totally, yeah. It really works for the crowd, especially in places like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. We had quite a busy weekend. We were at E.R. Bradley's on Thursday, and then we were at the Kilted Mermaid, which I always love to really big up on Friday because that place is cool. It's up in Vero. And then on Saturday, we were at Meg O'Malley's, which is one of our favorite places to play.
I played
up
there
in-
once.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
great place.
Did you play with a full band?
Yeah, on that tiny stage.
I know, I was going to say, yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, exactly. Because it works for Killbillies because we have the feet drums and we can all fit on there, but it's even a little bit small for us. But it was a good vibe.
Yeah.
You know? It reminds me quite a lot of O'Shea's. It's just, I think O'Shea's has a little bit more of a kind of rough and ready feel, and Meg O'Malley's is a bit more shiny,
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
I definitely feel that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was kind of an interesting crowd, too, because there's like more people I would have expected, like families and other stuff, but eventually there's like a college-age crowd that rolled in, and they
Yeah.
were just like all right there in front of us watching.
Yeah,
It's a cool
exactly.
place to play.
No doubt. We're playing there on New Year's Eve, actually.
Oh, that sounds like a great gig for New Year's, yeah.
It's going to be a blast, man. And then I had a solo gig on Sunday at Matthew's Brewery. I've never played a solo gig there before. I had a really, really good time. It's actually nice for me to be able to spread out a little bit on the solo shows because I'm usually sort of wedged into the corner of a carver bar or something, and there I was on this big plinth and I could turn up and everything. It was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt a little bit vindicated about my EQ choices. It all worked out.
Yeah, definitely.
It was good. So we have James and Joe with us today. How's it going, guys?
Hey, hello.
Thanks for joining.
Yeah, from BFD.
That's us.
Yeah, in case that people aren't in the know about the slight name change, it was Butch and the Fat Dubes, and now you guys are called BFD. Yeah, it makes sense. It is the initials after all.
Yeah, shortened and made it a little bit more user friendly. It actually fits on flyers a lot better all around. Like Butch and the Fat Dubes, with any other band, you're always like, how do I make the writing good and like not like the other bands look like they're nothing compared to our name being all of it, and makes it like a challenge altogether. And just like BFD, it's like boom, right in the corner. You can make it super fun, super big, and
they do say that 3-syllable names are the best because you can go BFD.
right.
BFD.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Chantable.
Yeah, exactly. It's awesome. So right now you're in the middle of recording an album, aren't you?
Yes, we are.
Have you come up with a name?
Not really. We're thinking about making it a self-titled, though. That's pretty
Okay.
much the consensus so far. That's where it's leaning toward, because the new name, it's like kind of like
Reinvention.
reinvention. We're really moving forward with our sound all around, and
Yeah.
I really want to get kind of make that more of a statement kind of thing, because we're moving a little bit more away from the punk and a little bit more into just like rock in general, like
Right.
a little bit of everything. So I kind of want to keep with that.
Yeah, that's cool. That's
Makes
awesome.
sense to self-title it too. We're remastering a lot of our older songs and kind of bringing them back, shining some new light on them, changing them a bit. So
Nice.
making it a self-title kind of also signalizes that reset.
No, totally. after I left Sonic Boom 6, their next album was a self-titled album.
Oof. They do it after you leave, though.
I know, yeah. No, I would have done the same thing, and I still love all those guys. It's all good.
That's funny.
Yeah, totally. So you're in the middle of recording. How are you doing that, and how's it all going? I mean, I know the answer. But.
Well, we've been doing it like kind of split up because Tyler, our drummer, he's been doing like long haul trucking for a while, and before he left, he recorded all of his drums here at LMC. And since then, Joe and I have been doing our guitars and bass and vocals and everything in a cross between LMC and your studio.
Yeah, my house,
Yeah.
which has been fun. And, aside from the bird occasionally causing a little bit of disturbance.
I love the bird. We used the bird on the Killbillies album because it was just awesome.
Yeah, totally. So I have this little cockatiel.
Yeah.
And it's a sweetheart. He is a sweetheart. So he's called Lucille because we didn't
Yeah.
realize it was a boy bird beforehand.
It's hard
So
to
we
tell.
have a very modern bird, Lucille the boy. And
Time to leave me, Lucille.
yeah. I really missed the trick though, right? Because if I'd known it was a boy, I could have called it Little Richard, which is such a good name for it.
Yeah.
It would have been so good.
That would be a great bird
Oh,
name. Holy
yeah.
shit.
Man.
I know. The next
Missed
one's gonna.
opportunity.
Yeah, for real. It's gonna
Yeah.
happen though. Don't worry. So yeah, I just got this really nice new mic. I got a Warm Audio mic, so I think we're gonna retrack a few of your vocals. Aren't
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it too because you know how you always go back through things and you're like, I could do a better one with those, and then you're like, now I'm gonna have new mics, so it's gonna be even better. You know, like you feel like
yeah.
I don't know, you feel going into it like a looser kind of all together.
There is something about new gear that just puts a smile on your face in life.
Always.
I'll say.
And considering we're talking about new gear, and it is Christmas pretty much,
Ooh.
I have some Christmas presents for you boys.
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna get them out. I have to make sure I,
I
get the
didn't come
right
prepared.
ones.
Me either.
I didn't bring Ben a gift. His gift is me.
Yeah. Give to your
So
presents.
this is a boost pedal that I got for you. I shouldn't have told you what it was before I opened it.
Oh, Joe needed
Yes!
a boost pedal.
Yeah.
Which one is it? Let me see.
It's the Fender.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's a nice pedal, even
there's
if I
the
say so
angle.
myself.
Okay.
I like that. That's cool. Let me see.
That's nice.
Yeah. Oh, and it's got like a little bit of controls too. I like it.
And this is what I got you.
Ooh, I'm excited.
Kind of along the same lines, but it has a feature that you'll appreciate.
Ooh. Ooh.
Whoa.
So
It's
this
got
is
a compressor too?
yeah. So it's got an overdrive and it's got a compressor.
Holy shit.
And I think that you can use the
Sorry.
compressor to boost your. You're fine. I think you can use the compressor to boost your
Always take the
solos.
tag
You know.
price off, you know?
Oh right, yeah. Sorry.
I appreciate
it. There we go. Well, whatever.
James will be peeling at that for the rest
about
of the episode.
Oh well. Yeah. But that would be great because you were talking about wanting to get your solos louder. And
Yeah,
wanting
this
to
is really
compress them.
perfect for it.
Yeah.
I love that it's got like both of them and you can control them a little separately. Nice little Fender one.
Yeah.
It's so crazy because, okay, so on that note, we've always been a band that I've always used all orange stuff for my head and cabinet and everything. And Joe has always used all Fender guitars and Fender audio, like all around. And now, this album, I actually tracked mine with a Fender head on my orange cabinet again because I am still obsessive about that. But and Joe,
I'm on a
did
Mesa and a
Mesa
Marshall.
rig and a Marshall rig, so it was a real big change in our sound. I feel like this time because we all really went to different things. So
Yeah, man. And I think on the this could work on the banjo too.
absolutely,
The
more
thing
so.
I
This
was-
is more of a banjo thing, but I just
Yeah.
kind of got distracted because it was a Fender thing,
And it'll totally
all
work
of
for
a
the
sudden I
bass
have a
as
lot
well.
of Fender gear.
Yeah, man.
How did that happen?
I don't know.
I'm really looking forward to seeing how the banjo sounds through that.
Absolutely.
Especially for some of the leads where you're really trying to pop, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. I
might
can't
help.
wait. I think it'll be a lot better because the boost pedal that I have now, it's got like a boost on it, but like I don't really need a volume boost. I need something that kind of collects it, a compressor, more like something like more of a compressor that be able
Yeah.
to like pull it together or have a little bit of drive.
Yeah,
Both
exactly.
and be able to make it like cut through and zing through, so it's not so thin. And I like
Yeah,
it.
man. Exactly.
Nerdy.
And I figured seeing as I was getting everyone guitar pedals and stuff, that there was no better place to talk about it than on a podcast where I talk about pedals non-stop.
I know, I'm all about it. You know me, I love nerding out about any kind
And
of
this
gear,
is-
and this is a really cool,
Yeah,
much
man.
appreciated, Ben.
Yeah, it's all good, dude.
Man.
Thanks, Ben.
It's my pleasure, boys. And I also have a present for Justin. You want to come in here, Justin? Real quick?
Justin, the man
Justin.
behind the curtain.
Exactly.
Man, the mystery.
I think you'll find this quite fun, dude.
Whoa! What is that?
Ooh.
What does it do?
Pedal. What is this?
So it's a
Chaos ensuing darkness.
Oh, get
Focused
the
on
hell
a
outta
moment
here.
in time. Tone is the afterlife.
Say that again.
All right. So it says afterlife pedal. Chaos ensuing darkness. Focused on a moment in time. Tone is the afterlife.
Dang.
What is it?
I want to hear this before the end of the
it
night.
has loads of different drives. I think it'd just be really fun to play with, man.
I
you know?
think so,
vintage
too.
distortion.
Tone
So it's got
beyond the
vintage
crypt.
distortion, modern distortion. There's a piece of tape over it. So modern fuzz and vintage fuzz. That's That's the one that got me.
Oh,
Wait a
yeah.
minute. Well, this is gonna go straight on the pedal board, buddy.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
cool.
love this.
It'll look great on there too.
Man, you're up here.
I think it's beautiful.
Ooh.
I threw James.
Oh,
Aw.
so wholesome.
I didn't get
And-
you crap.
Because it was last minute you coming on the podcast, I didn't know you were going to. All I have
yeah.
is some sweeties
That's
and
okay.
popcorn.
That works. That always works. Very appreciative.
Excellent. Well, yeah, happy Christmas, everybody.
Yeah.
Happy
you.
holidays.
Definitely.
Thank you,
Definitely.
Ben. Thank you.
Yeah, man.
I'm actually kind of really excited about that pedal that you gave Justin because like
That thing is fucking
I'm in euphoria with
badass.
him, and I'm hoping that
That's pretty sick.
Yeah.
next time we practice, he might actually bring that out, and we might be able to use it for a couple things. 'Cause I know he's always like switching tones and picking tones, and I like some new ones are always a great thing.
And it's so metal. It's the shape of a coffin.
I
Oh,
can,
yeah.
I
It's
can.
like undeniably metal. You know, like,
There's none more metal than a coffin shaped.
that makes the tone better. It's like in the
Oh,
shape,
absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
It's focusing it. It's got
Yeah.
like the little vents on the side. It helps focus the whole thing. It's
Yeah.
the shape. It's
And when you plug it in, it glows red out the sides. It's
Oh.
just
Come on,
everything about
Corey.
it is
Oh,
amazing.
that's
Really?
awesome.
yeah.
oh my god! It's like all vampired out. I can't.
No, it's going to be a lot of fun
That's too
seeing
good,
that.
man.
I can't wait to have a go on it as well. Yeah, so where were we? Christmas presents. Oh, it's a shame Hector's not here, isn't it? I miss him already.
I know. I have a
But-
present for him here. Should I show what it is? Just because?
Are you going to give it to him before
This
he
airs?
edits this?
I don't know.
I think maybe it's okay. It is
Right?
pretty cool.
Right?
Well, maybe then
I'm-
he'll see you sooner.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. So James is just going to get Hector's present now. So tell us a little bit about what this is, James.
So Hector recently. You start telling him while I'm doing this.
Oh yeah. So Hector recently started bowing his stand-up bass, and he has got. We didn't know how it was going to go. He was sort of a little nervous about trying it at a gig because when he's done it acoustically, the tone wasn't that great. But we were at the Kilted Mermaid, and he started bowing. Sounded beautiful and thunderous, and sounded amazing. So now all of a sudden we have this whole other dimension to the band. We're really happy about
And
it.
it instantly created a problem for Hector because now he has the bow and he has nowhere to put said bow that's in an like accessible place. So I instantly went online and found him this quiver that attaches directly to.
Is it for a bow or for arrows?
No, it's for a bow for a bass.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's actually like specifically a quiver for bass. It's supposed to meant to be hang
The-
on the bridge.
The
Yeah,
cool
just
thing
right
is
in
it
the
does
front.
look
I've
like
seen
it's
that
for
before.
arrows.
It
as
totally
well.
does. He's just totally just like strapping on the back.
yeah, right?
Ben, your character needs it in D&D.
Like
Yeah.
Legolas-
I should just get another
Legolas shit,
one.
and he just like pulls it out.
Yeah, exactly. So I think seeing as we're so
Merry
spoiled-
Christmas, Hector.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, everyone, or whatever you may celebrate at this time of year.
Happy Christmas, Hanukkah.
Happy
Kwanzaa.
Hanukkah. Exactly. Yeah.
Festivus for the rest of us.
Yeah. Actually, interestingly enough, it is the winter solstice today as we're recording this.
Yeah.
So if you happen to be a pagan of some variety,
Yeah.
today is your day.
That it is.
Interesting.
That it is.
Yeah.
Happy Yule.
Yeah, man. I used to live right next to Stonehenge. Well, my mum and dad still do live right next to Stonehenge. And every summer solstice, there's a big party. But in the winter, some stuff goes on. Some people go up there, but it's not quite as much of a big deal. I mean, obviously because it's freezing cold.
Yeah,
But people still go up there. My friend Rachel was up there actually, because I made a post about it online earlier today, and she was like, "I was there." So
that's amazing.
It's cool. When I was younger, I was all about that kind of side of the UK. You know, that sort of mysterious, like pre-Christian side. You know,
the
the
ancient
Celts
stuff.
and everything.
Oh,
yeah.
definitely, yeah.
Really interesting. So, yeah, seeing as we're so spoiled as to have Corey with us, I was really, really curious to ask you a couple of questions.
Totally, yeah. Fire them away.
So, we worked together at LMC, and we've previously worked together at other schools as well.
Mhm.
And I've always respected you as a musician. So, this is a perfect opportunity for me to pick your brains. And how did you first find yourself getting into music? How did that happen?
I mean, fairly young. Like, I had a piano in the home because my mom studied music.
Right.
She didn't end up finishing her degree, but she went to FSU for a few years and was doing voice and piano.
Oh, really?
So she
When you were young or before?
Before that, you
Okay.
know. My parents met a decent while before I was born, you know.
Right.
But, yeah, I mean, she always kind of played a little bit, you know, and had music around the house. And, you know, at some point, I don't exactly remember when, but some point in elementary school, I, like, met another friend who was taking piano lessons, and I had a piano at home, and I seemed to like it, so it was, like, logical for my parents. They're like, okay, like, this woman's
Yeah.
affordable, we'll go to her home and drop them off an hour a week, you know.
Totally.
Yeah.
And so then with the whole gamut of different instruments you could play, when did you first start like diversifying like that?
I feel like definitely once I hit like maybe like 12 or something
Yeah.
like that, 13.
Yeah, me too,
Yeah, I just became way more interested in all of it, you know. Like before then I was just kind of like going to the lessons, you know, and like I did well and I played through the books and stuff that she put in front of me, but like I don't feel like I was really practicing all that much unless it was like something I heard in Zelda and I'd run to the keyboard and
Yeah.
like change to the ocarina sound and like play that melody, you know.
How old are you?
I'm 30.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
okay. So you got like 12 years on me, bro. yeah. Oh, far. I didn't realize it was that far apart. Actually,
Yeah.
maybe I did. I don't know. So, yeah, that's interesting. And then I think like a big part of your musical identity is like metal.
Yeah.
And like, when did you first get into metal?
That was definitely when I started playing like the guitar, you know.
Yeah.
So like the piano was definitely like the regimented. I was learning to read music in like the classical way and stuff. And then like I just kind of picked up the guitar when I was like 12. I think like a family member or friend or somebody let me borrow an acoustic, but very quickly I wanted an electric, you know.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it just kind of was like a logical procession of like stuff I already kind of was into as far as like the hard alternative rock on the radio at the time, I guess. And I was kind of into that. And then my dad would show me his records when I first got playing. He's like, oh, you got to like learn everything Cream did and you got to like learn all the early Zeppelin stuff.
That's great.
I always gravitated to the heavier stuff, you know.
Yeah, totally. That's awesome.
At what point did you decide that you wanted to do music, like entirely? Is like your main gig, main focus? Like what, like either that and like also like what like catalyst kind of made you want to do that?
That's a pretty good question. I mean, it was sometime when I was in high school for sure. Like, I would guess around 15 or 16. I don't know. At a certain point, like, I started playing guitar because I had a friend who had a guitar. I remember, I think my first guitar was like one of those like used starter guitars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I like bought it secondhand,
Like
so
an
it was
Aria
even
or
more
something
beat
like
up. You know, so it was like
Yeah.
so it was like $40 when it was like a $60 guitar first, and
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
literally like his fingernails had worn grooves in a certain
Oh
part. Yeah,
my.
it was not in good shape. You know, and I played it out of a karaoke machine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my amp for like
The
a
best
year.
amps on the planet
good
are
old
amps
karaoke
that are
tone.
like the most
Yeah.
random things that you put together to just make sound.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's like literally my dad's like, "Well, that's a quarter inch. Your guitar's a quarter inch," and then it worked. We're like, "All right, that's good. You know, we don't have to buy something." You know.
So that just reminds me of something that I used to do with my buddy. In order to multi-track when we were about that age, 14, 15, we'd get two tape recorders. We'd record something onto one tape recorder, and then we'd play along with the recording of the other tape recorder into another
Into
one
the
that was
other
on
one.
record.
That's
And
clever.
I
you'd-
still
you'd-
do that.
You'd end up with
the
like,
phone.
oh really?
Yeah, I do it a lot with
He
the phone
literally
because
does.
I'll play it once and make like a rhythm track for myself and make like a loop basically. Then I'll play it with the phone and record on the same phone, and it'll pick up the sound from that and me, and then I'll start multi-tracking stuff myself so
Wow,
that I
that's
can like
smart.
jam over and like come out with ideas. Yeah.
That's so cool you still do that. And it's got to work a lot better than those tape machines, because when I was doing it, the hiss was just unbelievable.
No, it's so much better. It's so much better. It's like such an upgrade to it, and it really like works well. And it's just like a quick way to put something together and not be like. And
Definitely.
it's amazing that it doesn't get like overdriven by the sound with the speaker that's there for some reason. It's not like only hearing that kind of thing.
Yeah, I've got like some DAWs on my phone, but I've messed around with them, but I never really enjoyed it too much. I don't know. Have you done any like on your phone music making?
Like phone recording, I've tried to get into that too, and I also bought an iPad this year, so I tried to get into like, you see people like I made this whole album, like the Damon Albarn, one of the Gorillaz albums is all iPad, you know, like the fifth or sixth one, and so I was like, I gotta like figure out how to do that, and it's hard. That's the short answer, you know, like like you end up having to do all this stuff that you'd have to do with your computer anyway, like you like have a little dongle to connect to this dongle and then put in an interface, and you're like, I should just put this in my MacBook. Like, why am I doing
Be
that?
done with this.
Yeah, like
Do this the right way.
yeah, like I'm doing all these extra steps. There's some cool like apps to jam on. You can get ideas going.
Yeah.
You know, but
And you got that acapella one, which is pretty fun.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get acapella for the longest time because you need an iPhone. But I got someone very kindly gave me an iPad, and you can get it on that. So I've been messing around with acapella. I think the main reason why I don't like those digital audio workstations on phones is I don't have very good eyesight, and it's all so small.
yeah,
Yes.
Yep.
that makes a big difference.
Yeah, that's really the main reason.
Though
for me.
they've gotten better with them, because like when we've taken amazing phone video and audio with Killbillies.
Yeah.
Many times we'll do it with just the phone sitting up, and it'll get the compressor on there. Just gets like a really nice balanced sound, pretty like especially with the acoustic instruments, and doesn't tend to get overdriven when we do I do live shows. Like when there's like rock shows, it's not just static hell anymore. They're getting a little bit better with that kind of stuff.
Considering the size of the size of the little
diaphragm of
microphones,
that, yeah.
and it's unbelievable what they managed to like. At this point, I would say that people who make phones are probably better qualified to make amazing mics than mic manufacturers.
Absolutely.
'Cause they're so good. You know?
Absolutely, because like they get really great like vocal. The banjo. How many times have I sent you stuff on banjo? And you're like, that sounds great on it, because it just like gets all of it. It gets the lows, it gets the highs. It's crazy.
Yeah,
it's crazy that they do so
heard
well.
of Pro Records, where the producer, like part of the vocal was like somebody like literally in their iPhone, and then just texted it to him, and then he mixed it. You know, like
No, that's it. And especially if you're going for something that has that slight radio quality to it.
definitely,
Yeah, you can do so much with
it
that.
kind of like bakes that compression in that's already in the algorithm, you know.
Yeah.
Like, but it sounds good a lot of the time.
I've been thinking about getting an outboard compressor so that for recording vocals in, so that I don't have to worry too much about people clipping it, and I can still have a nice loud volume. I don't know. There's this one I've been looking at, but it's like $800. It's like called Bluey.
Every time you turn around, you're like, it's another one I could spend money on.
I know. It's an expensive hobby. I was talking to my brother about it a couple of days ago. But then I feel like when you get to my age anyway, it's like you struggle to find someone who didn't have an expensive hobby, you know?
Yeah, all the hobbies at
I was
this
gonna say,
age
if it's an
tend to be
adult hobby, it's
expensive.
expensive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Exactly.
That's definitely
none of
true.
them, like none of them, cars, any of that thing. It's gonna be expensive.
Yeah,
Oh,
totally.
definitely. I mean, we all get the gear acquisition sins from,
Yes.
Yeah.
Hector's the worst.
Yeah.
He's
got
Yeah.
back.
Oh my God, he's the worst. If it's been like a week since he's bought gear, he's like Jones. It's like, the musician's friend or whatever. They sent me a thing. They got this like free deal of the day, and you're like, Hector, stop. We don't even need that.
Hi, Hector.
Hi, Hector. That's why.
Yeah,
that's where he's
man.
actually at right
He
now.
knows.
He's at the store buying.
Oh,
more
he
stuff.
absolutely is. He's like literally just shopping for all like ridiculous gifts like that now. Just things to buy for music.
Scrolling reverb.
Yeah, you could do that all day.
Yeah.
And apart from Dungeons and Dragons, which is something that we all play, and with Justin as well, apart from that, I don't really have any other hobbies. And so music is my job, but buying the gear is my hobby.
Well, it's all part of your passion.
Well, and that's also part of your job in general. Like,
Yeah.
it's part of like, the tools of your trade kind of thing.
Yeah.
Especially because you're liking the focus in that. And I think you do pretty well at it, because I think you have a good patience for it. So it's one of those things that plays well to you and
Yeah.
lets you nerd out on stuff that you're into anyway.
Yeah, true. I didn't used to have patience, but I've got quite a lot. I'm like relatively patient these days.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. I was gonna ask you, when it comes to bands you've been in,
Mhm.
Corey, what sort of bands around here have you played in over the years? Is there any that you'd like to talk about?
A lot. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I guess like right now the band I've been in is like the original band that I've been in the longest is State of Flux.
Yeah.
You know, some guys I went to college with, I probably met them like between like 2010, 2012 or something like that. And the drummer and guitarist I've known for that long. You know,
How would you describe it?
oh, it's like progressive metal.
Yeah.
You know, it's very Dream Theater-y. You know,
Right, yeah,
songs
yeah.
that are too long. You know, stuff like that.
Right,
We used to last album we had like a 15-minute song, and when we play it live, we'd always be like, if you have to poop, now is the time. You know, like. Yeah, man.
I have a question about that actually. When it comes to writing music like that,
hmm
how does that happen? Like, 'cause it's not the same as, you know, writing a verse, chorus, bridge, chorus type song. You know, it's a bit different.
Yeah.
So is there a process that you, or does it just happen organically?
There's definitely a process. I mean, it's very different. Depends on the song. You know what I mean? So I've been in this band like 5 years or so, you know, and like we're kind of towards, like halfway towards maybe finishing the second album, you know. And it's funny, like some of that material is stuff that we jammed like in 2017. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? In practice. So it's like depending on the song or the album, it's very different. You know, some of them are just the guitarist went home and he just had an idea and cranked it out. You know.
Right.
Other ones we were like, okay, like we need to write more collaboratively. So we went in a room and one of our songs we like all wrote together in that room. If we weren't together, we didn't finish it. You know.
Right.
And there's other ones that like vice versa. You know, have like a drum idea and you build melodies around it, or the opposite. You build like a melody idea and put the, you know, it's funny too because I play keyboard, but playing in this band, I feel like I've realized I'm a very like rhythmic player, like in the way I conceive of writing things.
Yeah.
For sure. Like playing this kind of music has made me realize that because I definitely think about the chords and like harmonic, like what's going on and other stuff. But I've realized like my ideas for writing riffs and stuff, they always start with like a rhythm idea, pretty much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like some idea with numbers and then just like putting the right notes in there, and so it sounds good. You know?
Gotcha. So are you playing the guitar in the band at the moment?
A little bit. In some of my cover bands, I play guitar. I'm trying to like find another outlet for my guitar playing. It's been a
Yeah.
while since I've been like the guitar in a metal band. I was in a band a few years ago called Volcano Cult. It was just me and these like two twins. So
Oh,
like one
right.
plays drums and one plays guitar.
Oh,
so it's
cool.
like they have weird twin energy, and we would just like throw things around on stage and improvise.
I'd be interested to find out about that twin energy. Getting in a
Yeah,
band with some twins.
they're entertaining guys. They're
Yeah.
certain
Yeah, they're always
characters.
kind of like locked in with each other, I'm sure. So they're like they really like play off each other super well. So you can get like lost in a song kind of thing.
Absolutely.
I like that.
Yeah, and we
Like-
would write songs that purposely were open ended like that. you know?
Yeah, it's like being like in a jam with people that you've just known for like 40 years. Like you just know them. You know that like as soon as that sound's coming out, that you're ready for a change and ready for something more fun, and
Yeah.
everybody's kind of leading toward the same idea.
Or you just like you have that nonverbal. You do like you know the look, and you're like, oh yeah, like you just know what's happening next. You know what I mean? After a while.
It's the most important thing in a band is
For
to be
real.
able to, you know, be able to communicate without having to actually say much. Be able to feel the energy off of each other and build the songs and put them together and like
Yeah.
make them sound and come together.
Well, it's that non-verbal communication that music is all about. It's what it, you know. It's,
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
that feeling you get, you know, and where you just feel like locked in somehow. You know, it's such a wonderful feeling. I love that. And
It's
I think
nice
that's
when you
what-
get it in a group too.
Oh,
You
totally.
know,
Yeah.
obviously with BFD, we've been together for what, 8 years? At least
Yeah.
that I've been in it
You've
for
been
that
in
long.
it for 8 years. So.
And it's that natural energy of just knowing what's coming, knowing when we're about to do something differently than we've ever done it, and everyone's just following along.
Yeah.
Knowing when you don't know your line.
Yes, that's the most helpful thing ever. It's the first word. I know the line. I don't know the first
Yep.
word of the line.
I wish that
I'll always
until
check you
the-
before a
until-
verse, and if you've got the look, if you've got the uh-oh look,
I wish that
I need
Hillbillies
an
had
adult
that.
look.
There's a panic. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see.
then you know to throw the first word out there for him.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it doesn't work the other way around. Hillbillies.
No, I'm getting better at being able to help out when like it randomly happens with Hillbillies, and when it does, I'm like, oh God, I don't know it either. And I'm like, now I'm getting better. Now I know a lot more of them. But originally it was like,
Yeah.
I got nothing. He'd look at me and I'd be like, dude, I'm
That look
sorry.
with the terror in your eyes. You know?
Yeah. But you shrink and you're like, oh,
Yeah,
deer
exactly.
in headlights.
Exactly. Yeah.
Panic!
I totally know what you mean about like you need that first word. It's like sometimes it's
Yeah.
like that, and it's like, oh, that's the entire paragraph.
And I
You
say
know,
it
like-
to Justin all the time.
Yeah.
Like Euphoria, especially, it happens a lot with. I'll be getting ready to like sing, and I'll be like, especially when I'm not playing an instrument, I'll be like getting ready for it, and you're thinking about what the words are, and you have no idea what the first word is, and then right when it's about to be the time to sing, all of a sudden your head gets it, and you're like, that's the word, and let's start, and it just goes, and you're like, thank you, God, thank you for watching me on
yeah.
that one moment. I needed it. I was gonna forget it.
I've been in
Yeah,
that
man.
moment. It's like that panic, and then you get there. It's like, oh, the
Isn't
tension
Yeah,
it,
your
release.
body
isn't
knew
it
what to do.
strange how
Yeah.
that's it? And the more you panic about it, maybe there's a chance that you will miss it just because you overthink it.
Right,
But if you
yeah.
just let
Definitely.
yourself do it, then it just
Let-
comes out.
It
Let
knows
the
it.
muscle memory take
Your
over.
mouth
Oh,
knows the
totally.
word. It's just gonna do it if you just let it do it. And
Well,
you just,
almost every time.
Well,
Yeah.
meh, 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 meh.
I always
might-
get in those
that
situations
might
where
be
my
the
mouth knows
best
two
moment ever.
words. You know,
Yeah.
you ever been like the two come out at once? You know,
Yeah.
He mumbled out a whole start
Yeah.
to a verse. It was fantastic.
It was amazing.
On camera, it was
On
fantastic.
camera. I just did exactly that. Meh, 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 meh. I just said that in like full volume, full sing, and
At least you
we
went
didn't
for it.
notice it until way later. We watched the video, like live, it's like a battle of the bands. Ugh.
Yeah,
So-
glad we didn't do that ever again.
I don't know why this reminds me of it, but it does. There was this one time when we were playing with Zach back in the day, and he looked over to me, and he just for some reason completely muddled up his words. He goes, "I'm so tired I couldn't squeak into a mouse,"
Yes, I remember.
and I still have no idea what he was like trying to say. Like it was just the best.
that's a great line though.
I
don't
know,
It
right?
really was. He was talking about it all day.
It does kind of weirdly describe how he felt. I don't know why. Just in this sort of weird imagery way.
Strange image Freudian slip kind of thing. I asked her odd. No.
So do you do much home recording?
Yeah, I mean, not lately, but yeah, you know, especially like a year or so ago, I was really into it. You know, I'm trying to get back into it. Once I move into my new place, I haven't moved all my furniture in, and I was measuring the room. I'm like, okay, I want to be like 38% of the room back, and I'm like,
doing it
the monitor
properly,
spread.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm like literally like reading online about my monitors and shit. You know,
No,
trying to
it's
piece that
worth
together.
doing. It's worth doing.
Yeah.
I can be a little lackadaisical about that. I've got to sort out my speakers at the moment. One's a bit lower than the other.
No, yeah.
I've got to sort that out. And it does definitely make a difference.
Mm-hmm.
I've got, oh man, I can't remember the name of the app, but I got an app that you use a little microphone in it, and it EQs your room
Is
for
it
you.
the Sound ID source thing?
I can't remember.
Sound
Sounds pretty
reference.
cool though.
It's
Yeah,
like
for real.
so yeah. It sounds.
I
it's
think
something
that's
like
what
that.
it is. Is they
Yeah.
send you a microphone and you go
Yeah.
in around and you like let it to. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen that. I was considering getting that actually. I was
Yeah.
literally gonna do that. Yeah.
It's pretty cool. It worked really well. You know, now when I make mixes, they're not insanely bassy or whatever. It was
Yeah.
usually the bass that I had problems with.
Yeah, because
You
it
know.
helps you get that flat response. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like
Always
you
the
have all
bass.
that coloration and you know any set of monitors, you try your best to eliminate it, but you know they're not all made equal. You know, and
Yeah.
they're colored in different ways. That's why you go to the Pro Studios and they have 3 sets of monitors. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I have a little sort of portable radio thing, and then I have like a laptop set up there. Then I have some regular hi-fi speakers in the other room, and then I've got my monitors as well. And I will go to the car and listen to
Oh
you know
yeah,
the whole
absolutely.
around the
You
house.
got to reference
it's
it
gotta
all.
be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When we were doing the Killbillies album, Ben would be constantly asking me about, like, what do you think of the mix? And I was like, dude, I listen to it at the house, but I haven't listened to it in the car, and that's the place I need to listen to it the most, because that's the
Yeah.
one I have most
Absolutely.
EQ'd to how it is. And I think like cars, especially like stock cars, not like done up ones, that's what most people listen to.
Yeah.
So that's what
Absolutely.
like the most important balance is. If it's good in a car, a standard car, and a couple of that, it's gonna sound good for almost everybody's thing.
Totally.
Because
you
that and the phones, you do have to
Yeah.
check it for phones because
Yep.
they
Absolutely.
can sound wonky
Yeah.
on phones if they're
Yeah.
not done right.
That's 100%. Like everything I do, anything like I reference it in the car and the phone. You know
Yep.
what I mean? It's like you want to think about like I have all this nice like audio stuff, but it's like, what is the consumer going to listen to? It on?
Exactly.
Yeah.
No one's gonna listen to it on those gorgeous monitors. that
I
you
mean,
have.
as
gonna
much as
be
you
Apple
wish they would.
earbuds.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
For real.
because it's gonna sound better, but that's not what anybody has.
Yeah.
I like to go to like BrandSmart and go through all of their ridiculous setups and try it on all those because that's what
Have you
people are
done that
listening
before?
to. Yeah.
I could picture
I
James.
did it with the first Butch album. I did it on every album, even the Christmas one.
He's just in
Christmas
BrandSmart
one.
blasting
Let's
punk
talk
out
about
every
the Christmas
speaker in the
album, actually.
entire BrandSmart.
We've
Some
got
guy's
a
like, "Can I
picture
help
of the,
you?"
one second, guys. We've got a picture of the Christmas album, and what the reason why we had you guys play this is because you made this album. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yes, because this is one that I definitely did this during Christmas time. Went to BrandSmart and played this on like literally all of their big stereos, small stereos, like a whole thing, just to like.
Did you dress up like an elf?
Yeah, it was great. It was a good time. I should have.
That's
But
awesome.
we did this. This album came out.
It was 20. It would have been 2018, I think. 2018 or 2019.
Who
Yeah.
did the art?
Hector.
What? I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
that was Hector's art. Yeah.
Oh, he did a great job.
Yeah, he did.
did. It really-
yeah, he really
really
did. He
captured
really,
our essence.
he really embodied all of us on that one. Great. It's just so ridiculous.
I like it.
Yeah.
It's so
It's
hysterical.
got a certain like South Parkiness to it.
It
as well.
does. It does.
Yeah.
He did a really good job with it. I was really happy. He really after a few times through, we really got it exactly where we wanted it. Everybody looked good.
Yeah.
And it was a fun project all around. We did it originally. I think that was the first recording
At
that we
LMC.
did at LMC.
Yeah, I think it might have been LMC's first too. I don't
Oh,
know. Justin
cool.
will have to confirm
it
that.
possibly was one of the original
because
ones.
that was at the first location.
Yeah, and that was one of our it definitely was better than our first recording. It was amazing. The bass tone on it was flawless.
Everything
the guitar
sounded
was
good on that
full. It was a
album.
really good
It's almost
sound.
frustrating that
We
good
did,
sound is for a Christmas album.
I know.
I'm gonna listen to it to death. Don't worry. I'm
yeah,
gonna
wait.
make sure
Listen
that-
to. I always say listen to the bass on Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. It's
Okay.
the bass on that tone is sick. It's got
Just-
like
just
all
the
the
bass on
right
that tone.
sound. It's got right.
That's like the first time anyone's ever said that. Listen to the bass on Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Right. It slaps, bro. At like 390 beats a minute or something stupid like that. It's
Oh my
amazing.
God.
But
we
yeah,
recorded that in a blitzkrieg. It was one night. It was like one day and night. I think
Yeah,
we
we
went
did
from
like
like
a-
5 p.m. until like 5 a.m.
Yeah, because if you actually get the album, because we do have the album available, we don't
Oh,
have
I
it available
forgot about
online
that.
anymore. We're terrible about that.
It's
but,
I mean you can stream it, but the
yeah,
physical
but the
copy is
physical
what we're
copy
talking
comes
about.
with the inside. There's actually a picture of Tyler, our drummer, on the floor, like sort of passed out, listening to us do vocal runs with his onesie on because we were in the Christmas spirit recording it, and we had like lights in the studio.
Low key, we thought you were going to show up in onesies, and we're a little disappointed.
I know. I was thinking about it a little bit, but I'm not gonna lie. Joe showed up and he didn't have anything, and I couldn't like do it all myself. And then
No,
it
it's
would
fair
be,
enough, and I forgot my Christmas hat too. So
Yeah.
it's
we all
good.
forgot.
Yeah, but it's all good. So you're going to play us a couple of songs. What are the songs you're going to play us from?
Well, we're gonna do one of the songs from the Christmas album. We're gonna do Dominic the Donkey. It's probably one of my favorite ones. It's definitely one of my favorite ones. I've forced Joe into playing it. It's the most ridiculous song of all the Christmas songs. It's an Italian folk ridiculous.
I had to be
song.
convinced the song was real.
He didn't even. Yeah, he didn't even believe that it was real.
There's
and he was
nothing
like, "What are you
makes
talking
sense
about?"
the song.
No.
Reindeer can't fly over hills, I guess, so a donkey's got to do the job. There's all sorts
That's the
of
whole premise of the song.
Sepalagova or some
Sepalagola.
crap in there. Like I don't know.
It's got lots of very, very,
Very
like
Italian.
standard,
I love it.
over the top Italian terms in it.
What are the other two tunes you're going to play?
We're gonna play a rethunk version of Iron and Steel, which is on our first album.
Cool. Don't
And-
tell us too
It's
much
the-
about what it's
it's the
about, 'cause I'm
lead
going to ask
track.
you afterwards. What was the other one?
And the other one is
Bring Me Back.
Thank you. We always called it Dun 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 for the longest time. So,
So I have a question. Is it all right if I come and play a bit of cajon with you guys?
absolutely.
Heck yes, we're missing
I love
percussion.
And low-key, is it all right if I join the band?
It. Let's see how you do with the cajon.
Okay.
Giving him a tryout.
Shit, piss, ass, shit.
Gotta get out on the recording for Justin.
We were born from strife, and we fought with pride. and the Batmobile.
How do we fall from grace?
We were passionate and we were strong,
We never backed away from a fight.
even though we could have been wrong. We are shot and killed. We are taxed and billed. We quarrel over race and wealth. Money controls the health.
Religion won't divide.
Stop caring about good and weeds.
Let's not repeat history.
It's okay if you want to eat meats.
How do we fall from grace?
We were passionate and we were strong,
We never backed away from a fight.
even though we could have been wrong. Oil and gas. Let's not use the past. We'll unite the world. No, how fast? Hey, jiggy the jig, Dominic the donkey, jiggy the jig. Dominic the donkey, la 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 la. Santa's got a little friend, his name is Dominic, the cutest little donkey you've never seen him kick. When Santa visits his paisans with Dominic, he'll be, because the reindeer cannot climb the hills of Italy. Hey, jiggity jig, Dominic the donkey, jiggity jig. Dominic the donkey, la 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 la. Jingle bells around his feet and presents on his sled. Hey, look at the mayor's derby on top of Dominic's head. A pair of shoes for Louis and a dress for Josephine. The label on the inside says they're made in Brooklyn. Hey, jiggity jig, Dominic the donkey, jiggity jig. Dominic the donkey, la 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 la. Children sing and clap their hands and Dominic starts to dance. They talk Italian to him, he even understands. Gambadas and gambadas and they dance to Dardanelle. When Zeppa La Cola comes to town and brings you to Charel. Hey, jiggity jig, Dominic the donkey, jiggity jig. Dominic the donkey, la 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 la. Hey. Things have gotten out of hand. How we got here, I don't understand. Who'd have thought, and who would have known? This unbiased idea would make us afraid to talk. Bring me back, we were young and we stood tall, and nothing could tear us down. We go back to the other life when we stood tall and nothing could tear us down. Been 300 years since we took the throne. Matter who you are, you were never alone. Have you forgotten Lady Liberty? For all the immigrants who wanted to be free. Bring me back, we were young and we stood tall, and nothing could tear us down. We go back with other life when we stood tall, and nothing could tear us down. We go back, it's okay, stand with us today. We were lost and we couldn't fall apart. We go back with other life when we stood tall, and nothing could tear us down.
Five Six One Music is brought to you by Handlebars Bar and Grill. It's a biker bar in Tequesta, and if you're driving up US 1, you come across it on the right-hand side. It's a little bar there. It's bright yellow. You can't miss it, with the handlebars on the sign. And it has a long and storied history. It's been there. It used to be called Judy's, and it was run by this guy Victor, who sadly passed this year, R.I.P. Victor. And then my father-in-law took it over, and he's doing a great job up there. There is a bike night every second Thursday of the month, and there is a jam every fourth Sunday of the month. If you're interested in that kind of thing, it's just an all-inclusive, any kind of music, any style, any ability type of a jam. And there's great beers on tap, and they're wonderful food. Burnsy, the chef, does a fantastic job. If you're interested in classic cars or classic bikes, there's always that kind of stuff hanging around there. It attracts that sort of a crowd because it's called Handlebars Bar and Grill, so it makes sense. And yeah, you should come swing by. It's definitely a local spot and has a lot of character. And there's people who have been going there for decades and decades. It's one of those places that's a part of the furniture in Tequesta, and you should definitely come check it out. I booked the music for the place and love doing it, and I was a part of helping set the place up, and I'm a huge fan. And you should, anyone who is interested in biker bars, or even if you've just never been to one and you're curious about what a biker bar is about, you should go and check out Handlebars Bar and Grill. We are also sponsored by Oasis Root. Now, Oasis Root Carver Bar is in Sea Grape Square on Indian Town Road, and it is a carver bar. If you don't know anything about carver, it's a Polynesian root that you grind up and you mix with water. And it has been in Polynesia for potentially thousands of years. It's an old thing that they used for kind of ceremonial and also sort of leisure purposes. It's meant to be something where, that brings people together. You all take a shell of carver and chink them together and say bula and have it together like that. It's meant to be something to bring people together. It's has a kind of an effect, which is, I guess, a kind of a slightly warming effect. It just kind of makes you feel nice. It's not particularly intoxicating. It's not like drinking alcohol. So the atmosphere in a carver bar is sort of like a cross between a regular bar and a coffee house. It's pretty chill in there. You get all sorts of different types of kava bars. Some of them are more like a club, there's sort of like black light and EDM playing, and some of them are more like a cafe. This is one of the cafe type of ones. It's super chill in there. If you're looking for somewhere to, I don't know, maybe go and do some work on your laptop or go and have a chat with friends, it's perfect for that kind of thing. There's a foosball table in there if that's your jam, or baby foot as they call it in France. And Jim, the owner, is a really cool guy, and he has very kindly sponsored our podcast. So thank you very, very much for that, Jim. They also do a poker night in there, all sorts of things going on at Oasis Route Kava Bar. 561 Music is sponsored by Live Music Community. It's where we film the podcast that you're listening to right now, and it's also where I work. Gavin, Hector's son, was a student here for a long time, and in many ways he's the musician he is today because of the teachers at Live Music Community. We taught him not only about his instrument, but also about being in a band, and his band, Unemployed Youth, accomplished a lot of goals, mostly band etiquette, how to work together, and all of the nitty-gritty that goes into being in a band on a day-to-day basis. The student signs up for lessons, learns their instrument, joins a real band, and decides the direction it goes in. And we can take people from very young age, 6 or 7 years old, all the way up to 80. There's no age limit here. We run an adult program for people who want to be in a band as adults, but really the main focus is on the kids and getting them playing together and in bands. We are also a studio, a live stream venue, and we can record audio or video. The Killbillies live album, Warts and All, was recorded here. It was recorded during a live stream that we did during COVID. Justin had a great idea to record live streams during COVID. A ton of bands came in, and it was a real success. But outside of that, we can record albums, we can help you with your EPK, and we have full audio-visual capabilities here. LMC is in Palm Beach Gardens on the northwest corner of Military Trail and North Lake Boulevard. It's north of the gas station, right before you get to North Lake on Military Trail. And if you go to livemusiccommunity.com, you have all the information you'll need right there. Thanks. So, seeing as we were just listening to an advert about Live Music Community, which is where we both work, do you have any advice for upcoming musicians?
Practice. No, I mean, that's obvious, That's a really good question, man. It's like I wish I had a better prepared answer.
I feel like sprung on you a little bit.
I feel like
never stop.
Yeah, like just find what it means to you. You know what I mean? I feel like that's a really good piece of advice.
Find what it means to you.
Yeah, like everyone has different goals, different ideas of what it's, what they're trying to do. You know what I mean? And just like look for what it is that like you enjoy out of music, and just if you're writing music, especially like find the common ground amongst your favorite songs. And you'll find, I think, your voice.
Yeah, that's smart. Yeah. What about you guys? You got any advice for upcoming musicians?
I would say never stop doing it. The difference between people doing it and you is that they're just doing it still.
Yeah,
exactly.
And like they're constantly trying, and find members that are people that you like.
Yeah,
in some way.
That's
like if you don't like your members, you're never gonna have fun. You're never gonna do well. Nothing's ever gonna happen from it. It's just like a bother. But when you like them, when you're on the stage and everything all goes well and the show is great, there's no energy like that, and it's a good time.
And on the subject, sorry, carry on, Joe.
My deal with that too, at least for me personally, don't treat it like a sport or like anything. It doesn't, musicians have varying talent levels, but kind of to Corey's point, whatever your taste is, if you work hard enough for your skills to match your taste, you don't need to be the fastest shredder out there if you're playing guitar.
It's absolutely
or play the
true.
fastest fills if you're the drums. If you can master what you love, then that's all you need.
And you can really shred your way into obscurity. I mean, the amount of people that listen to crazy super fast is what I'm working on at the moment, but I don't expect anyone to like it really.
Right. It's players' music for sure.
Totally.
I definitely understand that.
So, how did I do?
I think
you got the part there,
I
bud.
think he's got the part. I think you might be the fourth member of BFD at this point, sir.
Oh yeah, well you heard it here first. Ooh! Joined BFD. It's very exciting. Can't wait for the first gig.
That is a BFD, a big effing deal.
It's a big
deal.
It's awesome. So we took a picture of your super cool guitar, Corey. Why don't we take a
Yeah.
look at that and talk
Sure.
about it a little bit?
We could take
I
a
like
look at
this
that.
guitar a
Wow.
lot.
Yeah.
Everything about this guitar is amazing. I'm not even gonna lie. Like I could name so many things. I love the pickups. I love the graduated bridge. I love the
yeah,
fan
thank you.
frets.
Yeah.
Like it's got all the things that it needs, especially with that kind of a long scale. Like you got that
Exactly.
much like
so genty.
bottom.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. It's as genty as it could be. I love it.
Oh, absolutely.
And,
you
and
know.
it's beautiful. I'm sure. Like I would love to hear. Like, do
Oh,
you have,
totally,
you have
yeah.
that in recordings? Have you done recorded with
I have
this
like,
yet?
I have like little videos and stuff I can show you. You know, but I mean, it
cool.
sounds great.
I want to see like
Yeah.
I want to get like a. I want your next album or whatever. That's what I
Yeah.
want to hear. 'Cause
Yeah.
I want to
man.
hear a recorded what you want to sound out of that
So
kind of thing.
Tell us a little
Exactly.
bit about it, man. What's going on with it?
It's this crazy. It's a Strandberg. It's this like this cool
Strandberg?
Yeah, cool Swedish brand. It's
Yeah.
like this guy. I don't even know. Maybe like 10 years ago or so. Like he was like a IT guy for a long time, but he used to make guitars. He was always into guitars and stuff. And then he just like got out of it and was like, "Oh, I want to build the perfect guitar for me." You know.
Nice.
So he came up with all these things. It's really interesting. The bridge they came up with because no one makes that bridge. So they just made. They're all individual actually. They
Yeah.
string. So you just laid them out that way.
okay.
Yeah,
And you-
Ibanez does a similar thing nowadays.
Yeah.
and it's just to getting that extra on the basses they do. I don't know about
Yeah,
guitars, but
yeah.
just to get that extra tone because B strings and stuff like that, you're just not gonna get
Yeah,
a
the
good
intonation.
tone on it without it
Yeah.
right.
Right.
It just doesn't sound good.
Yeah, it's the multi-scale. At first, you think it's going to be more jarring than it is, but this brand is pretty good about like it really kind of follows your hand as you go, and you need it for
Nice.
like that many strings because it's an 8-string guitar. So the
Yeah.
lowest note is like the F sharp of like the bass string. You know,
I had a
of
pretty
guitar.
brutal time with my sort of bottom of the like relatively cheap Ibanez 8-string. It was I would love to spend a bit of time with something like that because I found my 8-string to be, I mean, it was just huge and heavy and a lot of work, you know?
Yeah.
And so I guess this is to combat that. in some
Yeah,
way.
it's hard to get around because the thing you run into is if you have the long scale length for like the low strings, they intonate well, and that's fine for riffing. But what if you want to play solo? Like bending notes all of a sudden becomes really hard. You know,
Yeah.
the strings up top don't intonate the same. But like I think this actually like the top E, the thin one is like I think it's just a 25.5, like a lot of Fenders or Gibsons, you know. And then the
Yeah.
lowest one I think is 27-inch or longer, the low
Right.
string. So that just helps it all intonate across and just sound good and feel good to play. You know?
So is it something that, how good are you at like setting guitars up? Is it something that if something went a bit out, you would be able to fix it, or would you send it to a guy?
It's also the kind of guitar I'm not sure how many people know how to in America.
Right,
Yeah, look
yeah.
at it. There's certainly people who can, you know. But I'm okay at it, you know.
Yeah.
Luckily, it came really well set up, and it's got the coolest gig bag I've ever bought with a guitar.
Oh,
It's like the
nice.
gig bag like has its own raincoat and backpack straps. It's
What?
nice.
That's
yeah.
cool.
Yeah, like anyway.
Well, and it looks
Like-
like you can actually
The guitar
adjust
bag
the
poncho.
intonation on each one of the
You can.
individual bridges.
Yeah, each one has
Yeah.
a little screw
so
down
if
in
one's
it
a little
for
bit
hex
out, you
key.
can just push it. That's fantastic.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's got a good attention to detail on it.
Yeah, and they've realized because they've been doing it for like I think maybe 10 years. Like they include a multi-tool now because the thing is people were complaining about not having the right tools, but now it's all in one.
Oh,
What do you,
nice.
do you have? What is that? Volume, or is that?
That's
because it looks
volume
like-
and
is it a
tone.
switch? Okay, so it's a switch and master volume. Or
Yeah.
it's master tone or master volume, master tone.
Yeah.
and then a switch for which pickups you're using.
Yeah, exactly. So you got the 3-way toggle and the master volume, master tone. But actually, each pot is actually a push-pull pot
pull.
as
Ooh.
well.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
nice.
there's a lot of like tonal variation.
Can you go
know.
active and passive on
Oh
this?
yeah. So like you can put it on the neck pickup and like pull them, and all of a sudden it's a way more passive, way less aggressive or bitey
Oh, I
tone.
like
so you can get some
that.
like buttery and smoother, rounder leads and stuff. Yeah.
I like that because that's a quick adjust. You just pull it out and bam, you're there.
Yeah.
Like, I like that. Nice.
The reason I got my 8-string was because of the whole Tosin Abassi
Yeah.
revolution and
Yeah.
everything. And you know,
Am I
I
the
did
only
kind
person
of
that
learn
doesn't
how
know
to
this
do
is?
the slapping
That's
thing a
the
little
guy.
bit.
Oh, the
Tosin
thumb
Abasi,
thing he
really
does
good
with his
guitarist.
thumb.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I never got super good at it. And then I started messing around with learning like jazz standards and kind of doing the bass and then some comping and stuff like that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I had quite a lot of fun with it, but it just ended up not being like it wasn't quite enough of a nice guitar that it ever sounded nice enough for me to care about it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think I feel
totally
like
understand.
I don't know. I know that a bad artist always brains his paintbrush or whatever, but I guess what I mean is that even when I was playing it well, it didn't sound that great,
Right.
So I just kind of lost interest in it. But that
Oh, I definitely
is
agree.
that's like a step ahead.
Oh yeah, it's definitely been like one of my favorite guitars. It just
Yeah.
feels really nice to play. And the thing is, you can't even see from that picture, but it's their patented thing is the neck on the back. It has this weird groove that like follows your thumb from like the top of the nut down here.
Yeah.
Oh.
So the idea is that like if you don't pay too much attention to how weird the neck is, your thumb should naturally go to a comfortable place.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we're going to talk a little bit about your pedalboard too, Joe, aren't we?
Yeah, it's grown a bit. So with the Mesa amp now, I finally have an FX loop, which has been long overdue.
Yeah, we
and-
were talking about that while we were recording.
Yeah, and the main reason for wanting a Mesa is, I've always been a Fender nut, but trying to get the right distortion pedal combination for a tone to go out an amp like that, I finally just gave up.
Yeah.
I love the Mesa's distortion tone.
Yeah.
So the first loop then that I feed into the main input, I start with a noise gate because you've seen my guitar I'm using in the studio. I just have the most sensitive, hottest, loudest pickups
It's
known to man.
Yeah,
ridiculous.
you can like speak
So,
from here and you can hear
You can
it coming
speak into
from-
the dang
wow.
guitar
Yeah.
and you can hear it through the amp. So I have a noise gate for when I'm not playing, just to make sure I don't destroy the audience's ears. Then I go straight to my overdrive. My green, I've got a Bonsai, a JHS Bonsai. It's got a bunch of boards from a bunch of the best, everyone's favorite tube screamers. And it's got the
yeah,
DS1 and OS1 in there if you want it, or the OD one.
Right.
I usually end up using the TS8
Right.
Oh yeah.
on it, the preset. I think it's really good. From there, I go into I believe I go straight into, I don't have the picture of it handy, but it'll be there. I go straight into the octave pedal.
Yeah.
You want to do that before drive. So if I'm
Right.
going to, the two songs I use an octave pedal on, it's there. And then that'll just feeds into the input and then out the effects loop. So once I've got the distortion coming from the amp, I'm going into the rest of my effects. So I've got,
You've got that really cool delay and that really cool reverb.
yeah, so
those
I've,
liquid
I've
notes.
got the the Caroline Guitars Megabyte for
Yeah.
delay. I really like that thing. It's a great delay pedal, but then when you add the lo-fi
Yeah, it goes all like
gain to
8-bit.
it,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can really get some cool. I'm a nerd. You can get some cool computery sounds from it. And then with a delay pedal, I have to have a tap tempo because I'm not going
Yeah.
to sit there. If I'm going to use it for more than one song, I'm not going to try to
Yeah.
dial the delay in on the knobs.
Or you could
no one
just
wants
be
to. No one wants to watch you crouch into your pedal board.
You
live
could just
during
be
the
like
show,
me and
so.
Unless you're in a
just
shoegaze
find
band.
somewhere roughly in between all of them and leave
Still,
it
even
there.
shoegaze bands, no one really wants to watch you unless you're doing it mid-song, and then it's
Yeah,
kind of cool.
yeah.
But no one in between songs wants to watch you.
That's true. The only time it's cool is when you get the word.
Yeah.
It's pretty
So I think in this rendition, my Big Muff is still there. I really, with the Mesa now, I'm not really using the Big Muff. But that was kind
Which
of.
is a shame because I do love that. Big
That's how
muff.
I
It's
was getting
great
a lot of my
sound.
most aggressive punk tones out of the Fender amp was with it, and I'm a huge Smashing Pumpkins fan, so I love the pedal. So
Yeah, man.
it's hard to pull it off the board.
I get it.
And then I'm going from the delay. I've got all the branding is faded off my reverb pedal, so I'm trying to remember what it's actually called. But it's made in New Zealand. It's a really obscure liquid reverb pedal that it took me forever to actually find a
can
good
do
one
some
on
weird
reverb
stuff.
to buy and get it. It was one I've always liked the tone of it. I heard it from a local band one time. I heard someone playing it, and I had to ask what it was. Then I looked it up forever. It took me about 2 years to finally find it at a reasonable price and somewhere on reverb that looked like it was going to work when it got there.
Yeah.
I really can't think for the life of me what it's called because literally it was well used when I got it, but literally all the branding, the markers on the knobs, everything is washed out. So I've got like Sharpie lines on the knobs, and like you can't even read the branding on it anymore.
It sounds really cool though. It's got that weird octave thing. Is it-
Well,
Yeah, so like on the reverb, there's a knob to the far right that gives you some controls. You can get the reverb to play a fifth plus or minus, an octave plus or minus,
Yeah.
or just straight down the middle is a bend feature, so it'll just put the slightest bend in there.
Yeah.
And then it's got like a havoc switch that if you hold it, it only really works for the bend setting. But if you hold it on the bends like a horror movie, it'll
That's
for as long as you
Yeah,
hold it,
yeah.
it'll just keep dropping that note.
nice.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. It does sound exactly like a horror movie too. You're not even like exaggerating.
Yeah,
That sounds amazing.
I use it for like one song, but it's the coolest one
Well, and
song.
some-
It's the coolest
sometimes
little
when you
thing.
get it cycling right, it gets like this actually like almost like a Leslie reverb sound where it starts like actually getting like a cycling sound out of it. It's pretty
That's awesome.
pretty intense because like when he really gets it like going wild, it can do some pretty cool stuff.
Yeah,
it gets
man.
a little overpowering sometimes, but it's pretty amazing.
I think I missed at the start of the track. The reason I missed what's at the start of that chain is because it's about to get replaced. I have a boost that it's
Oh,
a
gotcha.
spark. You know, it
And
does the job.
Why is it
makes you
about to
loud.
get replaced?
Because you just got me that sweet Fender pedal. It's about to get jumped by that.
Yeah,
so,
that's awesome.
Everybody's gonna go pedal crazy in bands this year apparently because we're all just going kind of nuts.
I mean, I've always been pedal nuts. But
I know now Ben's been pushing me to get all banjo pedal crazy now.
Nice.
And now this
I'll
is
help
gonna
him
really
with
push
that.
it a lot.
Exactly.
You just tell me what you want him to have. I'll help him find the right one.
Well, I'm just curious to see how this compression works on the banjo. I mean, I've used some for some of the lead lines in the recording that we did.
Yes.
And I think maybe they'll, hopefully if you don't overdo it too much on the compression, just get it so that some of those leads just sound a little bit more uniform.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
exactly.
Like a nice attack on them.
Get a little bit
Yeah.
more of that bite to them.
Yeah, exactly. So, what's everyone got coming up? Is there anything in the future for Butch?
Aside from really finishing up the album, hopefully in the next couple months, we are hoping to start doing shows now that we've hired on a fourth member. So, that's the kind of the next thing is to like kind of put a new set together, and we're also definitely going to be pushing toward doing an acoustic rendition of a lot of our songs. I'm not sure if we're gonna do like a full length album with it, but just the way that Iron and Steel really turned out.
Actually, seeing as we're talking about Iron and Steel, what's that song about?
Iron and Steel is most of my songs are actually very American.
American.
Just kind of talking about like how we came from such a strong like unified country. And we kind of fell away from that, like pushed ourselves away from it ourselves by trying to be too proper about things and like forgot that we're supposed to kind of work together.
Right.
And the whole song is kind of about that we need to like work together to solve our problems.
Like
and
a
kinda-
unity song.
Yeah.
That's cool.
We forgot what Common Ground was all about.
Right. We
Yeah.
forgot that we were all Americans in the end and we need to like work as a unit to,
Yeah, because the other one has a similar vibe to it, doesn't it? What was that
Yeah.
other song about?
That
Basically
one-
that as well.
Yeah, very similarly, honestly. It's like bring us back to being proud kind of thing, being proud of who we are and like all around that we all can be proud of ourselves.
I think it's an interesting line that you dance with that as well because, you go too far down that route and you start sounding sort of weirdly nationalist and terrifying. But, being proud of your country and wanting better for your country, there's nothing wrong with that at all.
Absolutely, no. And I think we need to be. And it's one of those, like, I try not to get very political because I don't like people to really tell me to what I want to do, what I want to, like, think.
Yeah.
So, but I just kind of just take my views and...
Yeah, like
you know,
personal politics.
Yeah.
How
and
you feel about something.
Well, and
exactly.
I think the
and-
difference in your songs, not to speak for your writing, but the difference is being proud in our differences. It's being proud
Yeah.
as a collective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of using our differences as a launch point for hatred or argument, that's what only emboldens everybody's side of the argument, is that
Yeah.
we can have those opinions and still
Absolutely.
utilize the best of everyone's strengths to come together and really accomplish great things.
And in the
Yeah.
end, that's how we become global. We have to get past that differences outside of just America to become a global thing, and we have to first start it at like that level, and then get it to the next level where everybody is in it. Kind
Spoken like a true Star Trek fan.
of.
There you
It's
go.
really a problem.
Oh yeah.
All we need is replicators. All right, that fixes everything. Star Trek
definitely.
premise: replicators fix everything. No money, no need. It's all about
Right.
intelligence and art and fun things at that point.
What you
that
got
would be
coming up,
great.
Corey?
Oh, I've just got a few random gigs. I have a gig on the 30th at Galuppi's in Pompano with one of my cover bands.
Right.
I have a gig the next month with this Bob Seger tribute. I literally
Oh,
just
really?
joined
That
in the
sounds
last
amazing.
meeting.
Nice.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
would like be way more into that than I would like imagine that I would be at
Yeah,
first.
honestly,
you
like-
get into it and you're like, Yeah, these songs jam.
Yeah, man. Honestly, because they gave me this list of like 30 something songs I had to look
Wow.
at for like Sunday, and they asked me to join like Thursday or something like
Ooh.
that, or
Wow.
Wednesday, or something, So like I'm just doing my best to get through them, and I got charts and I'm like playing and stuff, but like I'm getting into some of them. Some of them are like blues, and I'm just like I get to play my blues keys stuff,
there you go.
and they're all like, "That sounds great," and I'm like, "It's easy, cool."
Like, great. That was cheating.
Yeah, totally. Like,
There's nothing more fun than playing boogie woogie blues type piano, man.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
just with a bit of stride going on. And
oh,
everything.
totally. Yeah.
yeah.
And like I said, I feel like I'm a rhythmic player, so
Yeah.
that stuff just works for me. Like I do all the solo stuff, but like even that, I feel like it's like rhythmic ideas.
Yeah, totally. I'd really love to pick your brains on that style of piano playing, because I can do it a bit, but I'm not so hot. So at some point, I'm going to be boring you with questions.
Oh, totally. Anytime, man. You know where to
Yeah.
find me. So,
Exactly,
yeah.
exactly.
I think he needs to take a lesson.
I know.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think I do too.
Everybody should. We all take lessons. I take
100%.
lessons
You
regularly.
could do that. I don't
Oh
know.
yeah, the old
See?
live music community.
With the QR code too.
Oh yeah, let me see if I can hold that
Oh,
up
yeah,
to the
see.
camera.
Scan it, folks.
Will this break everything? Who knows? Who
Yeah,
knows?
I don't know.
No.
There it is.
There you
Look at
go.
that. That's where
Bam.
we all work. Live music community, baby. All right, so
Well, I don't work there, and Joe doesn't work there.
That was actually only half true. I was,
yeah, you're right. Oh well, it was half. At least it was half true. So Kilbillies, we've got the Square Grouper.
Yes.
On Christmas Eve.
There's a possibility, especially if it's cold, that I'm definitely wearing my ugly sweater to it. I'm riding the bike with the ugly sweater, but it's possible, especially if I can get Ben to get in on it. I might come in onesie.
If you're going onesie, I'll get a onesie, dude. I'm in onesie all the way.
See?
The holiday tradition
Yeah.
continues.
You don't have to ask me twice to dress up, stupid.
Because that means I'm gonna ride the motorcycle with the banjo on my back
In a
to
onesie.
Square Grouper in a onesie.
Yeah, you are. That's happening. That's brilliant.
Yeah, brother.
So if anyone wants
Most
to,
badass
Especially like
biker
it's got to
thing
be
you can
cold,
think
but
of.
it's supposed to be freezing. So
I know. I'm even like tempted to say that we just sort of split the money and have Hector come. Just for a big Christmas Eve
Right.
party.
Maybe I'll talk to Hector.
Yeah. We'll have a conversation about that.
Hector?
Anyhow, well, he'll hear this when he edits it, because Hector edits the podcast. So everything we have said today is going to be listened to by Hector in about an hour and a half. Well, listen, thank you, Corey, so much for coming and helping out.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's a pleasure.
Nice to be able to meet you and talk to you a little bit more. I've seen you a few times coming and going through
Yeah.
here and at, like Justin's parties and stuff like that, but I haven't really actually gotten to like interview and talk with you like this. So
Totally.
it's kind of nice to learn a little bit about you, though.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I love talking gear and music.
Yeah, I can nerd out on music
There's
with
only so
pretty
many
much
places
anybody.
you can do that.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. All right. Thanks a lot, fellas. Much appreciated.
Definitely.
If anyone wants to find out anything about the podcast, you can go 561music.com. We own that. And then on there's links to all the different places, to the YouTube, to all the social medias. There's even a place that you can donate if you want to do that, because, it costs us money to make this, and we really only do it to pump up the local music scene. So we'd really appreciate it. Also, if you go on our YouTube, which is 561 Music Podcast, if you like and subscribe, then that would really, really help us out. All right, well, thank you very much, guys, and peace out.
Happy holidays.